What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Day, with a special Thursday episode coming your way. So before we jump into the episode, let's go through my shameless plugs. Again, if I advertise right now, this is where it would go, but of course, I'm still having trouble securing that with certain companies. So please follow My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Day on places like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where you will get the 30-second song of the day song feature, so that anytime anything gets, when it comes to just trying to find out new music, fall in love with old music, and just expand your knowledge of rock and metal from the year 2000 until today, that's the perfect place to do it and connect with fans that like that same kind of music. Also, anytime anything gets released from YouTube videos and the podcast, you'll find out right then and there, first and foremost, so you don't have to worry about it. And on Instagram, that's our probably most popular platform. We talk to everyone the most on Instagram, as we do on Twitter and Facebook as well, but Instagram is usually our most popular, where we go through certain things like ask a bunch of different questions, connect through many different ways. We have different IGTV videos that come out every single Tuesday night, which is like a behind the scenes look at what we're doing here, and Wednesday night live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. It's a live stream for an hour. You guys come hang out with us, and we just have a blast doing whatever the heck we feel like. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as that is where the Chord Progression Podcast videos live. And also, you can find other videos that we do, like album reviews, band reviews, top 10 countdowns, year-end awards. And my favorite so far that I just started is the Kevin Figures Out videos, where I take a look at bands that are getting a lot of traction in the scene right now, or bands that have a lot of traction in the scene, but I may not know them all that well, and I don't know their music, so I really do a deep dive into them. And then also, again, like I said, that's what the Chord Progression Podcast is, where we are unearthing the underground, and we are exposing a lot, not exposing, but it showing you guys all of these great bands that are coming up in the scene. They're going to be the best bands coming the year like 2030, and allows you to get them early in an in-depth and fun kind of way. So please watch here on YouTube, or you can subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. But now, let's go to my featured presentation, because so you guys know I like the band Kingdom Collapse, and I'm a part of one of their Facebook fan group pages, and one guy that's on there, he is like the galvanizer for everybody. He added me as a friend on Facebook, and he added me to a couple of other different fan groups that I decided to jump on because, I like to find out about this kind of music. So the first one he added me to was this band called Another Day Dawns. And I'm like, okay, let's listen to some of their stuff. And they've got this great rock, high energy sound. Kind of reminds me of Clint Lowry's side project from Seven Dust, but with a lot more upbeat tones and rigor and more energy. So I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get these guys on the podcast, because these guys have a great sound, and it looks like they're gaining a lot of traction. And bing, bang, boom, everything got set up. And this is going to be a little bit shorter than you guys are used to. I had to respect their time, but we fit a lot into these next 35 minutes. So please welcome from Eastern Pennsylvania, the rock band Another Day Dawns. Are you guys ready? Because you know how I'm going to get you guys ready with a let's go. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, I found out about this band because one of my favorite bands here, Kingdom Collapse, got put on their Facebook fan group page, and one of the big admins on that page added me to this band's fan page. I'm like, okay, I'll listen to music. Let's see what goes on. After like 2 or 3 songs, I'm like, yeah, let's even get these guys on the podcast, because that would be awesome. And here they are today. So please welcome from the eastern part of Pennsylvania, the band Another Day Dawns. So guys, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Yeah, how are you? Thank you, man. Thanks for having us. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just a little bit toasty here, as my AC is not running right now, because otherwise you'd hear it over the mic. And if I start sweating profusely, just don't worry about it. It'll be okay.
Be like that scene from Airplane where he's like, bat in his face trying to fly the plane.
I just watched that movie maybe like 2-3 days ago, because like the 40th anniversary, and the two guys that wrote it or directed it, they're from Milwaukee. So it's like they had like a huge thing in the paper about it. I'm like, okay, I got to watch the movie again, because it's just too funny.
I love it.
Yeah, that just got put on Netflix like a little bit ago, I think.
It's often on there, but yeah, do it. It's
well, I mean, I've watched it just since it's good put on.
I'm just glad they didn't like cut anything out of there, like, because I know with Netflix sometimes they like kind of remove some stuff. It's like, oh, it's just distasteful, but they kept everything in there, and it's just still hilarious to this day.
Yeah.
Well, let's get focused on Another Day Dawn as well. So let's start out with like you guys are introducing yourself so everyone knows who you are, what you do in the band, and if you have any sort of like random weird fact, because I've had people tell me about their dogs, I've had people tell me about their Tinder bios, I've gone through a lot of it, and I'm always interested to see what people come up with.
I'm Dakota Sean. I'm the lead vocalist.
So fun fact, Cody.
Fun fact, I love women.
I'm Nick McGinn. I'm the drummer. Man, I can't really think of a fun fact right now, but oh boy. You can go, Tyler. I'm just a drummer. It's all right. He's just a drummer.
No.
I'm Tyler Ritter. I play guitar.
Yeah. What's a fun fact?
I don't know. I like video games. I don't know.
Yeah, shit. I'm Jerome. I play bass, and I just defended my master's thesis in biology. So
That's true. This guy
that's a cool fun fact.
That is a cool fun fact. Unfortunately, it gets like the quieter applause react versus I like women. We're all like, yeah.
I just graduated. Oh, okay.
Well, congratulations. Clap, 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 clap. We'll go off on that. But so now let's dive deeper into the music as well, because when I first got put onto this Facebook group page, fan page that was created either by you guys or for you guys, I don't know who created it, but taking a look at it, it was your style was like rock, high energy rock. And I remember when I started listening to it, it reminded me of this guitarist from Seven Dust, Clint Lowry. It reminded me of his side project, but had a little bit more energy and more tempo than what I expected on his stuff, because I got to see Clint Lowry play live right before everything got shut down because he was opening for Alter Bridge. So I got to see that and kind of like I made the connection of it, and all of a sudden went on Spotify, was looking through your like artists of like people or like similar like fans also like, and like halfway down all of a sudden I see Clint Lowry. I'm just like, called it, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's sick, dude.
So I was kind of just like all jazzed up about that, not gonna lie. But so really when it comes to the style of music that you play, like this, the rock music that has a good amount of energy to it, rather high energy, how did you settle on that style of music? Like what was the main reason why you wanted to play this style?
It's been a long journey getting to like this, because, we started when we were really young, just playing covers at bars, like, The Doors, freaking, I don't know.
Anything you can think of.
Yeah, really. But as we got older, of course, now we realized like this is our band. We make our own music, of course. But it was a hard transition, and I think heavy music has always like been really relevant for us. A lot of us are metalheads at heart, so it just kind of started coming out. It's been like pretty progressively evolving, so I think the next album could even get a little heavier and more
Darker.
Yeah, I say more darker. I mean, we're not saying heavier meaning like Viking screaming or something like that. Heavier meaning musical or darker meaning wise. Yeah, I agree with that.
Cody's bringing out the falsettos on the new album. It's all falsetto. It's no screaming, no singing.
Did we swear? Is that allowed?
Oh, easily. Fuck yeah. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, all right.
It's like I'd rather you guys be yourselves and talk the way you normally talk instead of just like some curated version of your guys. Who like, because otherwise it doesn't seem authentic, and if it's not authentic, who really gives a shit?
Exactly true, man.
But now you're saying like heavier, like deeper meaning. Like I was like when you said heavier, I'm like, oh, are they gonna go with like more of like a heavy metal, like more of like a heavy metal style, more like a metalcore style? I'm wearing an Ice Nine Kills shirt, just like. But then you're talking about deeper meaning. So is something like what do you mean by deeper meaning? Just kind of deeper content, or is it going to be like a little bit of a shift in the tone overall? So what's the expectation about that?
Maybe meaning for me as well as like lyrical meaning, what's going on around us, kind of more than just writing just to write. There's a lot of bands that write just to fill up lyrics or just to fill up time in the studio on that, rather than just writing about really what's going on. And we have a lot going on in the world now, man. So I feel like we definitely have a lot to write about, and got a lot of angry feelings here to get out.
Oh yeah, you definitely have a lot to write about going forward with what's going on in the world today. I mean, of course, everything's been pretty much shut down since March, especially in the music industry. No live shows except for like maybe some very, very small ones here and there. Except was at one maybe a week and a half ago. It was rather maybe like 100 people in a rather large space, but still it wasn't the same as like what I usually go for, which is like, you know, like basement shows, concert halls, that kind of stuff where I'm expecting to either hurt some people in the mosh pit or get hurt at the same time. And so it's like, it's different. It's much different, but I totally understand where you're coming from with that. And to kind of add to that point as well, when you're talking about things that are more personally, more about what's going on in the world and putting more emotion into it as well, instead of just writing just to write. A lot of times when you listen to music and you connect with it in certain ways, like especially with a lot of the songs that I really connect with incredibly well, it's because whatever the artist is talking about, it's something that I can relate to. It's like I can relate to their experience that they're talking about in the song, but put it in my own perspective. And a big song like that right now is a song called Above My Head by Polaris, because they came out their album in February. And it just talks all about going through depression and figuring out like if you're in too far with it before, you know, you might need to ask for help or something like that. And I went through a lot of that. So it was just like, it hit on so many different levels. So there's like a deeper connection that's available to happen if you're going to be talking about deeper things and you're really putting your thoughts and truth and emotion into it.
Yeah, it's always good to have like some open-endedness to songs. I think we do that pretty well. Cody does that well with lyrics.
Yeah,
so.
It's definitely like you said, has to connect, or else it's either it's just a party song or it's just a song to drink to, or you know what I mean. Like it's not going to be something that actually sticks around more than a year's time or something like that.
Not only that, but it's something that when you perform it as well, you're going to be performing it with more emotion behind it as well, because you're going to be connecting with what you're writing about, because you went through it all, you experienced it all. And when you're performing it, or even when you're just recording it and then putting it out there for everyone to listen to with a recorded version, people are going to really pick up on those certain tones in your vocals, or certain way that, you know, the guitar is pitched, or certain ways that, you know, if you're doing like, especially with drums, like especially doing like double kicks or anything like that, where I really pick up on stuff like that. It's just like, it can connect in so many different ways, and it can hit people that really have gone through so many different experiences. It can connect them in one song.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah.
And you guys released your Stranger EP back in January of this year, if I'm correct on that. If I'm not, then just call me out on that, because I always mess up at least once during these podcasts. So, yeah.
January, early February. Yeah, it was January like 29th or something, or 30th, and then we had a release party the next day.
Yeah, that's okay.
Woohoo! I was right. Yeah. All right.
I said February, so wow.
Well, if it was January 29th or January 30th, and I said it was January, then I'm like, okay, at least I got the month right. So, woohoo! And then with the release party as well, like, how did the release party go for the Stranger EP? What was that like?
I just remember being sick for it. So I was on like I was on like prednisone and like a whole bunch of stuff. And I remember the intro song came on, and I went out there, put my bass on, and I was like really foggy, like fog-headed. And the next thing I know, I just hear the 4 clicks for the first song. We were coming out to Beautiful Suicide, and I'm like, oh no, because that was my second show with the band. So I played with them, like 5-6 years ago or something like that. And then I came back, and that was my second show. So I was like basically dealing with being sick and then making sure I'm on point with all these songs, because obviously it's an album release show. Like you want to kill it. So it was great.
But other than that, it was fucking awesome. The songs went over well.
Fans love it. It was really cool. They were already singing it.
Yeah, they were already singing the day after it was released. So that was pretty cool.
That was a great feeling.
I remember that for Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to take over the Noises Instagram and Facebook to like showcase our show for them.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was a good time.
That was a really good time.
I was gonna say, if all of a sudden, you know, you're doing a release party and people are singing the words along to the songs, a day after it was been released. I mean, I was going to ask about what the public reception was for this EP, but I mean, that pretty much says it right then and there that it went incredibly well for you guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. That's always like a number one spot for us out there in Easton, Pennsylvania. It's a good spot.
I'll never forget you in that white jacket you were wearing.
I'll never forget a crazy story from that day. A fan actually lied to the security guards and said she was Dakota's sister.
Oh my God!
They just showed up in our green room backstage. We're like,
I'm like,
what?
Our manager John came up. This is your sister, right? I'm like, no. He's like, I thought so. Okay.
Well, the advantage of this one girl, it was her first day on the job, and it was the album release show. And she was sitting backstage, like making sure no one came up. And then she was just like, she didn't want to offend, I guess, us, because if it was really Cody's sister, she didn't want to get in trouble. So yeah, it was like she was super. She wasn't awkward. She was just very shy because she didn't know how to act towards anything with like band related besides like, hey, do you guys need a water? But
we were all like too awkward to say something until like our manager John walked in and had to be like,
get out.
Yeah, we'll never be the ones to kick you out. We'll call somebody to kick you out. We'll be like, texting John while we're talking. Yeah.
oh, get up here, ACP.
I gotta respect the guts in that girl though for going in just saying that she was Dakota's sister just to get backstage. I mean, that's starting to give me ideas of like once shows start coming back, like maybe I could try something like that. But then again, I look too goofy to be able to pull that off. Plus, I don't have nice, long, luscious, flowing hair to really get persuade my way in there. I have to be like wacky and goofy, and then also maybe kind of form a distraction, like say, hey, look over there, and just run around the side of them.
The weirdest part was that like it wasn't even really an easy green room to find. Like it was part of like
up 3 floors.
It was connected to this old apartment complex, and yeah, we were up like 3 flights of stairs, and like there were so many other doors on the way. She must have tried like all these other rooms before she actually found us.
It's kind of like in Home Alone with Harry and Marvin. Harry's trying to, after he gets his hand burnt on the doorknob, just constantly trying to like tap in, like, is this one right? Yeah. And then opens it up and then, ends up getting his head caught on fire. God, it's a good movie.
That's what we got to do next.
You got to take inspiration from Kevin McAllister in Home Alone to make sure that people don't magically appear in your green room that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, we don't have security.
So have like a tripwire. Or having a tripwire before the door.
Or just have a doggy door in there, and all of a sudden people are going to try and stick their head in, and all of a sudden you're going to have an 8-year-old kid with a BB gun just go, hello. Boom.
Yeah, that's our security guard is an 8-year-old.
Hey, if he's got the mind of Kevin McAllister, then I mean you're pretty much set with a one-man security team.
Yeah,
that's fair. I did see one post that actually there was. Now that we're talking about Kevin McAllister, really quick, there was a post that said Kevin McAllister versus Godzilla. They have 2 weeks to prepare, and there was a debate who would win. Kevin McAllister or Godzilla. I'm thinking about it. I think Kevin has a good shot. You know what I mean?
Dude, he found a way to trip it. He found a way to trip it, for sure.
If you're going to give that kid 2 weeks.
Come from the sky.
Yeah,
like huge paint cans.
I was going to say, if you're going to give that kid 2 weeks versus Godzilla, I mean, you're pretty much set. There's going to be no way you're going to beat him.
He needs a half an hour. Come on.
Yeah, just half an hour. Half an hour to prepare.
If Godzilla doesn't take him out in the first 10 seconds, it's over.
Yeah.
It's literally like a Mike Tyson fight at this point.
Which he's coming back too. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too. I've got my money on Roy Jones Jr. for that fight, actually. I don't think Tyson's going to make it.
See, I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but I just want to watch it. I just want to see Mike Tyson get in there and
nibble someone's ear.
Oh, I love his Adult Swim show. The Mike Tyson Mysteries is great. So
I gotta watch that shit now. Oh my god.
Do it. Just do it.
But then again, jumping back into the music, because again, that is why we're here, even though I always like to go off on random tangents, but I want to make sure that we respect the time that you guys have, and I want to again go over stuff on the Stranger EP, because I did listen to it, and of course, like, take a look at Spotify. I mean, right now, let's take a look-see. As I'm talking this right now, your top song on there, Taste of Heaven, has over 311,000 streams on it alone. So it seems like that's definitely the hit that's come off of that EP. Yeah. However, when I listen to this stuff, I always like to go deeper into it and like see, okay, is there any other songs on this EP that really stand out to me? And there was definitely one, and it was all the way at the back of the EP, called Forget Me Not. So I really want to go into that one, because that one was definitely my favorite. So what was the inspiration behind that song?
Forget Me Not. It's kind of, I always say, like, it starts off like a typical relationship, and then I don't know, one of us, ends up going sour, or just a little bit too much, loves the other person a little bit way more than the other one does, just a little bit too much, and then we start doing some crazy psycho things. It's kind of just kind of embed them into your brain, kind of, so they never forget you. And then we kind of took that off of the definitely. What's the name of the fucking? I can't think. I'm having a brain fart. What's the name of the movie? Sounds of the Lambs. Was for the music video, which was a lot of fun. We kind of took that idea and ran with it and just made it more fucked up than the movie. And
yeah, I'm sure that was fun for you. You didn't have to sit in dirt for 2 hours.
Bold. I fooled on myself.
So,
but yeah.
I'll say the thing that absolutely amazed me is the fact that that with the music video you reference Silence of the Lambs for Live, and made it more fucked up than than you would expect. And here I am sitting in the perfect shirt for that. I mean, come on, I must have planned this out perfectly or something. I mean, woohoo!
And that song was actually written like within a day too. That was really? One we wanted to record our EP. They were like, all right, no, these 2 songs don't fit the sound of it. We wrote 2 new songs, and that was one of them. So last second written, it was a really cool song. And we're happy that turned out. It's my favorite.
Yeah, the EP almost sounded like way different, and that song was like a big factor that shifted it in the dark direction, because we had like pretty much almost everything recorded in King Studios, where we've been recording up here, but then we just got a great offer to record with Joe Ricard, who he's worked with Starset, In Flames. He was great. So, and he was a metalhead too. So when we brought the songs to him and he pointed out the weaker few and we wrote some on the spot, I just showed him the riff for Forget Me Not, and that was just like how it started.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, when I was running through this song, it was, especially with the instrumentals, there was a couple of big things that really stuck out to me on this one. In the intro with the guitar, it sounded like, especially versus a lot of the other songs in there, it had a little bit more of like a choked up feel, but it had more force to it overall. Because it felt like it was a lot harder than I had heard on the rest of the EP. Kind of had like more of that like hard rock feel versus more of like just like that, you're like kind of like what I thought was your stance out like rock up tempo. So it was like hard rock, but it had that pace. And I really did like the move there, because it just gave it a little bit of a different feel. Versus going forward, it had that hard rock sound, again, had that pace, and liked how the drums had a little bit more vigor in there, and the guitar had a little more down-tuned as well. I think the biggest thing I liked on this song, though, was the bridge specifically, because it had this like full-on like metalcore style transition to it. And I just sat there, I was just like, okay, wait, whoa. Let's go back and listen to that again. I'm just like, oh yeah. This is definitely something here. And I was all psyched up for it. I was listening to that song over and over again right before you guys jumped on. Like, I was listening to your stuff. All of a sudden, like, I think I had played Forget Me Not like 3 or 4 times. I had to pause it right before the metalcore breakdown because you guys joined the call. I'm just like, well, I have to wait until the call is over to jam out to that one again.
That's how I was when they first originally gave me John, our manager, emailed the songs out and was like, take a listen and stuff like that. And within 5, like, I listened to the whole thing all the way through, and I emailed them right back. I'm like, holy shit, this is just insane, because it had a different order than what was on the EP, but Forget Me Not was last. And I'm like, what am I going to get myself into? And then the first song I listened to was Am I? And I'm like, all right, I'm like, yeah. And then Beautiful Suicide, I'm like, what? And then I was like, okay, I could do this. Psyching myself up, like, because I knew I could learn it and stuff. And then Forget Me Not was last, and I'm like, what is going on with this? That breakdown, like you said, that was the one that caught my eye too, where I was like, what? Like I have my work cut out for me, and
definitely, because
I'm really happy I did it.
I don't know if you know, but we were honored to have Aaron, bass player from Breaking Ben, come down to the studio, fly down to Nashville and play on all those songs. And so Jerome's fucking filling the shoes up for us.
And then I found that out, and I'm like, great.
It's like great. I got to make sure that I live up to the same standards that these guys are used to now. With the fact that Aaron from Breaking Benjamin recorded those tracks with them, and with myself, I think the last time I did like a countdown list of like my favorite bands, I think Breaking Benjamin ended up at 5. So I can definitely tell it's like, okay, that's definitely big shoes to fill, but. Hey, I love the way it sounds, so it definitely sticks out as probably as my opinion, your best track. Vocally from Dakota, I love the range that you had on this one, because it wasn't like what I was expecting. It was perfect for a faster pace instrumental with more of like a hard rock sound, because it had a little bit of a roughness to it. And also like the fact that you went unclean in this one as well. I was a huge fan of it because it showed you the ability to do that, and also really bring in so much more range into your vocals that allows you going forward with the rest of your music to do so much more with it. It just adds a whole another realm of versatility and diversity into your music. It just lets you go and do so many things.
Thank you, brother, for real. And that was this was the first time ever in the studio. The guys were trying to ask me, like, can you scream? Can you do any of that kind of stuff? And I'm like, not really. I've never really tried to do something besides like in the mirror. I think everyone tries like doing something weird in the mirror or something. And then I did in the studio, and then they're like, dude, you gotta have that in a song. And I'm like,
he didn't believe us, like, dude, that sounds fucking good. And Joe's like, all right, Corey Taylor needs to watch out. He had to, every time he sang a line, we're looking and joking around because Cody had a spoonful of honey every single time. It was so funny.
Oh yeah, man. I was right before we went down there, we got told we had 5 days to a week of constant working, not stopping. So, and of course, right before then, I ended up being sick with fucking something wrong with my throat going on right before going into the studio. So that's just how it works all the time.
Right. Yeah,
so we go into the first day, we couldn't even start on vocals till day 3 because
nothing was coming out.
Yeah, nothing was coming out. I had like laryngitis for something going on. I had to go actually get lessons down in Nashville. But so we had to start on all music stuff. And luckily my voice came back day 4, day 5 out of like the 7 days we were there. So I'd slam them all in. But it was fun, man.
it'll be a recording story that you guys never forget for your entire life, through the fact that you're starting out there. It's like, okay, let's see what's going on. And now all of a sudden here's Dakota. He can't sing for 4 days because he's got something wrong and his throat's not able to go. All of a sudden, last 3 days, guys, I can do it again. Let's do this. And then, how did your voice feel after that last day, after 3 days of just hammering it all out?
Dude, it's sore, man. Definitely. It's definitely a lot different than being on the road because, we'll only get 40, 45 minutes of slot studio. You're maybe singing the same line, maybe 10 minutes in a row, just with a different breath. We'll have Joe in there. Okay, that was good. Do it again for maybe a half hour after that. So definitely the honey. I'll have 4 or 5 bottles in there with me.
Also, you guys are going to end up having to call an album like the Honey album just because of this.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yo, it was a lot of fun.
That was a week.
Yeah, we fun fact, we got to record that Dark Horse studio. It's actually Korn recorded there. One of their later albums recorded there.
In Tennessee, right outside Nashville.
Yeah, man. It was, so we definitely felt the vibes, I feel like, from Korn. So maybe Jonathan Taylor and Scream was helping me out there somewhere.
Yeah, just like the ghost, like, or not the ghost, the spirit, so like the influence of Jonathan Davis just hovered over you at that point.
Dude, it could have been something, I don't know.
It could have been, and I want to make sure I respect the time frame you guys are giving me, so we'll just jump into the like going forward as well, because I did notice again, like, you guys were on the Rebel Rock Festival in Orlando for next year in September 2021, and looking at the bands that are on there, like, a lot of them caught my attention. It was like Five Finger Death Punch because, well, that's always going to catch everyone's attention. Limp Bizkit because, again, one of the other headliners, and it's just Limp Bizkit. But other ones that I absolutely love, like Skillet, Motionless in White, Anti-Flag, Miss May I. And then all of a sudden I'm looking through, I'm like, oh shoot, Another Day Dawns is on here, like in the first wave, and they've got a prominent spot in there. I'm just like, all right, I have to go down to Orlando now. I need more money, but I mean, that's another year away, so it could happen.
Yeah, festivals got a little ruined for this year. We were supposed to be in some others. Some we couldn't announce. One we did, Blue Ridge, which was a lot of the same bands too. You know, they usually have a lot of similar bands on the festival, but yeah, it's looking good for festivals next year though.
Yeah,
they're going to be stacked.
Yep, definitely.
We're trying to get them all.
Just luckily signed out a new agent, and he's already been showing us good promising signs, man. So we're ready. We're ready for 2021. Fuck 2020.
I was going to say, well, hopefully for 2021, when it comes to these festivals, hopefully you end up at either Rock USA in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, or Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin, because I know I'm going to be at one of them next year. I think it'll be Rockfest, though, and my whole entire plan for that one is I'm renting a Winnebago, driving out there, camping out there, but also bringing all my stuff with me, so I can also do like a enjoy Rockfest, enjoy as many shows as possible, but then also have like quick 10-15 minute segments and having bands hang out in the Winnebago with me, just kind of talking music, doing all this stuff. And I'm gonna have a bunch of like beer, water, Gatorade in the back, just so like, hey, if anyone wants to have a quick drink or little refresher, I got you covered.
Dude, yeah, man, keep us in the loop for that. We'd love to do that.
We'll do. I might do a couple other festivals as well with that too, because I don't think I'd be able to pull that off at Louder Than Life, but I might. You never know, or something like Welcome to Rockville or Sonic Temple. I mean, I don't know. It all depends on what happens next year as well, because right now everything's, again, especially this year, up in the air. I'm already planning ahead for next year, like you guys are as well. So I totally understand that. And then one other thing is just, especially after the release of the EP, are you planning on recording or writing any music for the near future and putting that out as well, especially during a time when kind of everything's shut down, not much is going on right now, especially in the music scene where everyone's kind of either trying to put out, work on some new music, or a couple other guys, they're always doing the Twitch streaming stuff like that. Just kind of what are you guys doing right now to help grow the band and grow your influence and set yourselves up for success once everything opens back up again?
We've been writing a shit ton. We've been writing a lot. That's definitely going to help us. Again, we just signed with a new booking agent, so things are looking good for next year. We just released the Forget Me Not video, which is sick. So if you haven't, go check that out. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to do. It sucks.
Yeah, probably the next month or two is just going to be writing, and then we'll probably just have some demos to send out. We don't know if we're going to do another EP, maybe not, maybe just have a bunch of singles prepared to lead us into the next year.
Yeah, we're kind of giving Stranger, giving us the rest of the year, giving it the respect to kind of ride it out because it deserves it. I feel like all these songs are fucking pretty good, every single one of them. So I mean, I want to try and get that out as much as it can, ride that out, and then we already got about a nice handful of songs already we've been working on, and that's what we're gonna do right after this. So we're working, man. We're trying as hard. And I see it's tough too, because we're writing constantly originals. And then, you see bands putting covers up or something covers on the radio. And we're like, you think with all the time you have to sit on your ass, you think you'd write another hit or something. Jesus Christ, stealing other people's songs again.
Yeah, but there's some bands that kind of I think a good band that's kind of towed that line of new music and also doing some fun covers as well as From Ashes to New, because what they've been doing is right when everything kind of started getting shut down, they're doing a lot of live stream covers. They're bringing in other artists from other bands, they did Gravity with Jen Ledger from Skillet doing Maria Brink's part on that song from Papa Roach. And then they've also got their new album coming out at the end of August as well. So it's they're kind of towing that line as well. But I do understand what you're saying, where there's a lot of people playing out cover songs. It's well, this is the perfect time to start writing new music and just having stuff out there. Because also once everything opens back up again, bands are able to go out and tour. I'm just getting ready for this massive wave of new music coming through as well, because I know there's got to be a lot of bands that are just sitting on stuff waiting for it to release.
Absolutely. Definitely, and hopefully we'll be the ones to provide it.
Yeah. Oh, we will. We will.
We'll be at the top.
With force feed.
Yes.
I mean, you'll have a good amount of people you can force feed it to, because just taking a look at your social media right now, you got over 11,000 people liking your Facebook page. On Instagram, you guys got like over 3,000 Spotify listeners per month. You're almost at 35,000. So you definitely have a good amount of fan base going forward. And just the more music you release and the more stuff you do to get yourself out there, the more fans are going to come and gravitate to this music. And being on that lineup for Rebel Rock is a great way to kind of go about it as well. Because just taking a look again at all the different names around there, it's like, okay, you're just picking out these different names and you go down the list. It's like everyone's going to start checking out stuff further down the list eventually. And because all of a sudden, they're going to want to know the bands they're going to go see. And all of a sudden they're going to listen to your stuff. And next thing you know, you're going to start creeping up there. And then all of a sudden you're going to be in front of bands like Light the Torch, Miss May I, Attila, Nonpoint, Suicide Silence. And you'll even potentially get above like Escape the Fate, All That Remains, Motion Light, Seven Dust, I Prevail. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, in a couple of years, first wave lineup announced. And all of a sudden you're going to be the headliner.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Set out the goal somehow.
2024. Jerome's calling it.
2024.
And then 2030 is total world domination.
Yes. No, that's 2026. Ooh.
I think
We're like a virus.
I speak for all of us here. I'm just glad to see our name on the fucking list.
Yeah.
It's a big accomplishment for that. We didn't get put with the plus more. I'm glad they give us the respect. That's cool, man. It's like I said, that's huge props to our management and agency for pushing for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's also got to be something that you got to use as like, as like a great feeling. Just, we're at this point where when lineups are announced for festivals that we are no longer part of that and more or like plus more kind of segment of there. However, there's also got to be a thing of, okay, we finally achieved that, but we got to go do it better next. Now, next time, let's get, when we get to see these bands that are up there, let's get halfway up the list. All of a sudden, let's get on that line right below the headliners. Then all of a sudden, let's be the freaking headliner.
For real, man.
What happens quick?
We're working our way.
And I'm going to be keeping tabs on this one, especially because now we have recorded that you guys are going to be that headliner come 2024. So it's recorded. It's on here. And it was World Domination in 2030, but now, it was you guys got 4 years cut off of that 2026. So I'm expecting it. I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that fan Facebook group. So I've got a feeling like once another song releases, guys, if you use that Facebook group to your advantage as well, because I saw what it did for Kingdom Collapse with their song Uprise being a top song on SiriusXM Octane for 2 straight weeks. If you're able to use it kind of in a similar way as well to kind of help galvanize your fans to when you're releasing music to help get it out there for radio play on Spotify playlists and that kind of stuff, it can just create like a snowball effect that just grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, man. That's what definitely what we're pushing for. Is definitely the satellite radio and the the podcasts and everything that we're definitely trying to Sirius XM and all that. We're definitely trying to push for. So that's exactly, you nailed it on the head, man. That's what we're doing.
It's all we can do to like you said, keep that snowball rolling, because once you lose the momentum, it's very hard to get back. So, and it's even more challenging now because we're supposed to be on tour, but this is all we got right now.
I added it. It's in there.
Yes. Well, on that, guys, so we've done about 35 minutes. I want to respect your time. So you guys have any final remarks you want to make before we sign off?
Just, if you haven't yet like our Facebook page, follow our Instagram, and check out our YouTube videos.
Yeah. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Don't cough on people. Wrap it before you tap it. Stuff like that.
Wrap it twice with what's going on.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't be too safe. No. All right, Nick.
Hey, whoa! I gotta just add it on that because I totally understand where you come from. Because there was a Durex commercial or a Durex ad. It had a face mask out. It said "for going out," and then it had a condom that said "for going in."
Yes, I wish I would have seen that. That's a new merch item, by the way. We're gonna have condoms. It'll say "Hey, stranger." On the front. That's for the young people Well, then for the old people, we have those like, you know, Monday through Friday like pill dispenser containers. It's like, oh, did you take your pills yet? And it'll have like a picture of the band, you know, each day or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Hey, the more interesting the merch I am, the better.
Great ideas coming out of you now.
Yeah, I want to thank you for taking time.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. Thank you so much.
This is cool.
Thank you guys for being on as well, and for everyone listening, because again, I know how everyone operates. I studied econ when I was in college, and there's got to be a convenience factor in there to find the music and find where you guys can follow the Another Day Dawns on social media. So instead of just trying to search them up, why don't you take a look at the description of the podcast or description of the YouTube video, because every single link you want is going to be there. It's one tap away, one click away. I'm making it as easy as hell on you guys. So there is no excuse.
Look at this guy.
Alligator clap.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you guys for being on the podcast today, and hopefully once 2021 rolls around, I start seeing more festival announcements, hopefully you guys are going to be on one that I'm easily going to be able to make. Otherwise, if it's not a festival announcement, hopefully you guys come by my neck of the woods, whether it's Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or if you go anywhere else in Wisconsin, like Madison or playing Green Bay or something, or if you go just in a different state around me, like I always go to shows in Chicago or Minneapolis as well. So if I see it, I'm making sure it happens. So
we'll be around.
Awesome. Well, again, Another Day Dawns, thank you guys for being on the podcast, and well, hopefully I get to see you guys in person in 2021. And I never like to say goodbye because I always like to keep in touch with you guys. So I'm just going to end with a see you later.
We'll make some music for you. We'll see it.
Hell yeah. See you later, guys. Well, folks, that was my interview with Another Day Dawns, the rock band out of Eastern Pennsylvania that is really beginning to gain a lot of traction in the scene. Please go and listen to them. Anything you need to find with regards to their music and any of their socials, just look in the description of the podcast and of the video, guys. Come on. It is all there for your convenience. Please. And I cannot wait to see these guys play live once shows start coming up, if they come around me or if I go around them. And hopefully that they're on one of the schedules for one of the festivals I'm going to with the Winnebago idea, because it'd be great to have them chill out for a little bit, maybe share a beer with them. If they would rather drink some Gatorade or some water, I'm going to have all that. So I can't wait to have that happen, and also see them and get to hang out with these guys from Layton, Pennsylvania. There we go. That's where they're from. Layton, Pennsylvania. That was Another Day Dawns, a high energy rock band, hard rock band, I should say, out of Layton, Pennsylvania. And it looks like they might be going even harder with some of their stuff and deeper with some of their stuff as time goes on. So stay in the know with them. And that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast, where we are unearthing the emerging rock and metal bands in the scene that you're going to want to get into the know with now. Brought to you by My Sunday Rock 2000 Today. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes with a big, healthy, and hearty see